Picture this. Spain. La Tomatina Festival, a massive tomato fight. People are going wild, covered head to toe in tomato sauce, having the time of their lives. But what they don't know is that the reporter is doing a live broadcast. She's not a reporter at all. She's a hardened, top-level special agent, the big boss of a counter-terrorism unit, completely undercover in this tomato madness. Her whole team is deep undercover too, each playing their role perfectly. They're professional, cautious, and totally discreet. Their mission today? To spring a trap for Gradov, a notorious arms dealer who's been in their sights for way too long. And there he is. A man in a suit and a fedora, totally out of place amid the tomato-soaked chaos. But here's where it gets really weird. East, west, north, south, there are 4 of him. 4 identical guys, dressed the same, looking exactly like Gradov, like he's cloned himself. The female agent is stunned. How will she determine which is the real Gradov? She needs backup, and fast, so she calls HQ for the location. Immediately, a WWT-5 pops up on the organization's global system, pinpointing his location. The agent's attention suddenly switches to the reflection of sunlight from a building across the street. And that's when it clicks. This counter-terrorism team just walked into a trap set up by Gradov. Boom! Her team starts getting ambushed, taken out one by hidden assassins. No time to panic. From a nearby van, Gradov's kill squad rolls out to finish the job. Noel dodges a bullet by the skin of her teeth, literally jumping out of the way. Now it's her turn. She's about to show these guys why she's the boss. First, she takes out a sniper in seconds. That's her taking back 80% of this fight. Until another gunman pops out of nowhere and sends her flying. Then the killers blow up the van that has the control system for the organization. And everything collapses. Mission failed big time. Gradov is standing there smirking like he planned it all. Meanwhile, over in England, we have Prime Minister Sam. The guy lives and breathes politics. What he doesn't love, President Will of the United States. Sam, being the serious, no-nonsense type, can't stand that this president is a former Hollywood star and a box office record breaker. Will was a mega-famous actor who somehow got into politics, riding a wave of fan support straight to the Oval Office. But here's the thing, Sam might trash-talk Will, but he secretly watches every single one of Will's movies. And it seems like Prime Minister Sam might have a thing for our female special agent, Noelle. When he hears she's missing, presumed dead. After that failed mission in Spain, he's devastated. Sam's single, by the way, while Will is married with a daughter. Will's secretary is a black woman named Simon. Sam's secretary is a white man named Baugh. And right now, for the sake of international relations, the two leaders are about to hold a joint press conference. They hate each other. They immediately start clashing. Will tells Sam to please not to bring up the Spain disaster during the conference. But as the press conference starts, it's clear the media only cares about Will's new movie. The Prime Minister has had it with the casual questions and calls him out and begins talking about Gradov and the deadly events that occurred. The media immediately jumps on the issue. This turns the conference into a serious matter. The Prime Minister has backed the President into a corner. Do you have any words for the families of the special agents that lost their lives in Spain? The reporter asks, giving him the death stare. I was trained by them, the President states. The only thing I have to say is that we need to do better. Oh, so being trained means you learned how to act. You've never served a day in the military. This was Sam's moment to flex his own military background. I want to tell the victims' families that I honor those heroes. Cut to, after the press conference, Will, fuming mad, corners Sam. As a public figure, Will is terrified of bad press, but Sam couldn't care less. He starts laying into Will. You're the president, but you're still learning on the job. I've been prime minister for 6 years, okay? Will fires back. But I won the popular vote, and the American people love me. Sam sarcastically retorts. You mean the number of likes on Instagram? Will is left speechless. Seeing the tension escalate, their aides step in to mediate. Gentlemen, our cooperation is about opportunity and unity, Sam's aide says. To salvage this fragile alliance, he proposes they travel together to Chequers on Air Force One for a NATO summit. Just endure 35 seconds on the plane's stairs for the press photos. Wave, smile, act friendly. Will hates the idea of sharing the spotlight. Sam doesn't want to be stuck with Will, but after some persuasion from their aides, they grudgingly agree to play nice for the cameras. Back to our villain, Gradov. He shelled out a fortune to hire the best sniper in the business, but the guy choked, even getting wounded by Noelle. Talk about embarrassing. Someone who's a nobody likes to hire the media to make themselves relevant? When you aren't talented but seek recognition, you'll be punished. Everyone thought Gradov would show mercy, but instead, he poured hot tea for the old scientist, then smashed the teapot onto the sniper's face. After that, he pours all the boiling water down the sniper's throat. Meanwhile, back to the president and prime minister, the press is out in full force. A huge crowd of Will's fans is on the left. The two leaders cooperate, waving, shaking hands, smiling for the cameras. But as soon as the plane takes off, they retreat to their separate corners. Sam is preoccupied with the failed mission in Spain and the missing Noelle, uncertain if she's alive or dead. Then Will barges in, inviting Sam to video chat with his wife and kids. Will lives completely carefree. Will can't understand why Sam, as a leader, is unmarried. He advises Sam, marriage brings clarity. It's a clear sign of who we are. I know you don't like my movies, but trust me, I look cool holding a gun. Sam deadpans. Toy gun? Will is clearly annoyed. In the kitchen, a suspicious-looking chef personally brings pastries to the president. He moves to the technical room, where the technician is stabbed because the chef only asked for the knife. He's a professional assassin and takes down all the technicians instantly. Without batting an eye, he turns off the radar alert system and reports the plane's location to Grodov's blonde-haired assassins. Will and Sam are still bickering, oblivious to the danger. I worked 3 jobs to pay for Cambridge, then joined the military and served in the Ministry of Defense, rising through the ranks to Parliament. I wasn't an actor in underwear on the red carpet. You haven't served the public for a day, and watching you play president makes me want to puke. Sam's words cut deep. But this isn't the time for wounded egos, because Will spots a strange plane flying on their flight path. The radar's down, so the pilot is caught completely off guard. The assassins unleash their first attack. On board the plane, Sam notices the chef's shifty eyes and the bloodstain on his shoulder. The moment of impact, the chef ripped off his disguise, attacking the crew. The Secret Service guys immediately jumped into action, shielding the 2 presidents. Rifle fire ripped through one of the engines. The Air Force One pilot returned fire, but it was like a mosquito bite against the enemy plane. Air Force One was being torn to shreds. If you ran out of luck, you were the first to fly out. Air Force One continuously shot bullets at the other ship. Seen today, God wasn't smiling for Will and Sam, because their other engine was destroyed. The captain and first officer gave it their best shot to maintain their flight path. The bodyguards were right beside the 2 presidents, but with a bang, the direct collision was officially putting Air Force One in the Book of the Dead. His partner warned him to back off. The spy put on his parachute and selfishly burned all the other ones. He smiled and left right in front of Sam and Will. The bodyguard quickly grabbed 2 parachutes and gave them to the 2 presidents, meaning he would have no way out. But until his last breath, he attentively showed the path to the safety house to the 2 presidents. The agent was relieved and pushed the 2 of them out of the plane that would soon explode. Both were free-falling. They launched their parachute and touched ground safely. Will had a little problem. News broke out shortly after that. The Air Force One carrying the president was in an accident in western Belarus. The President of the United States and the Prime Minister of England passed away. The 2 assistants were on a separate plane, and they were fine. The news was shocking to the entire nation and the rest of the world, and Grodov was delighted. Back with the 2 presidents, Will was hanging really high up. He wanted to call rescue, but Sam more calmly stopped him. Just think about why the assassin was able to easily get on the plane. There must have been someone on the inside who placed him there. And the most suspicious people were their own assistants, who suggested traveling on the plane. If Will were to call to say that they were alive, they would be telling the enemies that they'd failed to assassinate them. So they would return to assassinate them again. They needed to get Will to the ground and then walk down the mountain to find a way to travel. The wreckage was unreal. It's a miracle anyone survived. As they reached the bottom of the mountain, they came across a group of young people dancing. Will wanted to ask for help, but Sam didn't want to reveal their identities. So they decide to steal a car. They stealthily approached a nearby vehicle, but the moment they started the engine, they attracted the young people's attention. They were closing in. Despite Sam's warning, Will put on his Mr. Congeniality act and greeted them. But the leader just wanted to steal his expensive watch. Sam readies himself for a fight. Sure enough, the teenager punched Will in the face. Sam then unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks in retaliation. For the first time in history, there was a fight between local youths and 2 world leaders. Seeing that he'd accidentally knocked out the guy's teeth, Will apologized politely. The teenager, enraged, refused to forgive him, retaliating by kicking Will in the family jewels. One of the youths threw a cigarette butt at Sam, who flicked it back at his buddy, setting him on fire. Luckily, there was a water tank nearby. The bloodthirsty teenagers start to go for their weapons. Right when they tried to charge at Sam and Will, a warning shot from a neighbor successfully scared the gang and sent them running home. "Where are you going?" she asks. "Across the border, and without any papers," Sam stated. "All right, well, my amazing car will take you there." The amazing car turns out to be a sheep transport. Meanwhile, back in the US, the vice president has taken over as acting president. First thing she does is put the Pentagon on high alert, warning Russia, China, and Iran not to take advantage of the situation. The VP then contacted the AF director to confirm his voice and scan his retina, proving his identity, so the AF can launch the monitoring system to search for the 2 presidents. Immediately after AF was launched, the old scientist immediately ran his code. In only 10 seconds, he hacked the monitoring system of the AF. The reason he was able to hack it so easily was that they'd hacked into AF from the Tomato Festival. The 4 copies of Grodov were to lead the anti-terrorist team to call the organization to ask for help from AF. Switching back to our 2 presidents. After a harrowing journey, they finally find a moment of peace. They actually seem to be bonding for the first time. Will opens up, saying he's not a useless, stupid president. He feels the world is a beautiful place, but humanity is so messed up. That's why he wants to use his fame to bring people together. Before long, the car reaches the border. The woman signals. The two presidents immediately hide under the sheep's wool. The border guards initially conduct a very strict check, so even the serious Sam had to try his best to stop from laughing at Will. After the woman gave the officers a little sheep, the car passed through smoothly. The woman kept her promise, safely taking the two presidents to the Republic of Poland. Will wanted to give her the watch, but she declined. Turns out she knew who they were all along. Good luck to both of you. They arrive at a CIA safe house. Gradov immediately gets the information because of the AF's monitoring system. Seeing his enemies are still alive, Gradov orders his assassins to turn around and go deal with them. The young guy guarding the safe house happens to be a huge fan of President Will. After the three entered, the young man immediately updated the current news for the past 2 days. Because the AF servers were hacked, a number of secret actions of members of NATO were revealed. Everyone had a spy on each other. The leaders start playing dirty, and now the summit is going to happen tomorrow. But NATO is now clearly seeing each other's true colors. Germany and France are no longer on good terms because France had planted a journalist to influence the elections in Germany. Republic says is angry because it's been getting played out economically by Italy. Gradov's goal appears to be succeeding because it seems like NATO is starting to break apart. By any means necessary, the vice president can't let NATO break apart. She invites the diplomats of other countries to talk, but they all had faces as black as a pot. In the end, they all decide to stop playing along. Sam and Will are now arguing over whether they should call and say they are safe or not. A few seconds later, the house starts going off an alarm. Turns out it was the opposite party. Just now, and they've already been chasing them. The young man calmly opened the arsenal. After the three all picked out guns that suited them, the young man guided the two presidents to the safety path for them to escape from there. He confidently goes to the front line and uses the monitor to throw a beautiful bomb at them, right onto the monitor, as retaliation. Standing from a wall, he releases a beautiful and accurate bullet at the enemies. Seeing that his partners were taken out without knowing what to do, the blonde-haired woman noticed the cameras. The young woman lost his upper hand and retreated the best that he could, as the two assassins were right behind him. The guy shoots him. The bullets shot non-stop, so the two presidents weren't able to save the young man. He pushed them to move fast and moved to the second path, and blew himself up to cut off the two assassins. But the assassins chased the two presidents closely. Lucky that the two were able to jump in the elevator before they were caught. The amount that they've been running near each other, Sam praises Will for carrying a gun. But before they were even happy about running away, they ran outside and were ready to be ambushed. Suddenly, a police car comes screeching in, plowing into the two assassins. The driver bails out at the last second. And wouldn't you know it, it's Big Boss Noelle. Turns out, the bulletproof vest saved her life, and her rampage has been non-stop. She beat down every lowlife in the country to find those blonde assassins and track them down here. Then she blows up the house, but those assassins only get buried in debris, not killed. As they retreat, Noelle reveals Gradov's motive to Sam and Will. Turns out the CIA suspected him of building nuclear weapons because his son was a genius scientist. NATO couldn't risk nuclear proliferation, so they used their surveillance system to hack into Gradov's son's research and then eliminated him. But after it was done, they discovered his research was a breakthrough. He was trying to build the first meltdown-proof nuclear reactor called pebble bed technology. This advanced invention is now being researched and developed by the US. Gradov hates NATO, hates the people who took his son and his invention. That's why he wants to destroy NATO and everything it stands for. NATO was wrong to rush to a conclusion, but in that moment, they didn't have time to risk investigating the son of an arms dealer, because nuclear weapons are too dangerous not to deal with right away. But all that has to wait, because the most urgent thing is for the two presidents to get back safely for the summit. Otherwise, NATO will fall apart. Since there are spies on the inside, they can't go directly to the US Embassy. They need to catch the last train tonight to get there. Sure enough, the AF surveillance system alerts Gradov's people to Sam and Will's route. But it seems the old scientist doesn't want to share this with Gradov. Early in the morning, Noelle is still mad at Sam for something in the past. Turns out even a prime minister can't avoid the wrath of a scorned girlfriend. Finally, there's something Will is better at than Sam: sweet talking. The two of them start talking about their wives and girlfriends. The old scientist suddenly shows up, shooting one of Gradov's henchmen. But the henchman manages to get a shot off before dying. Turns out the old scientist was a colleague of Gradov's son when he died. Gradov threatened him into continuing to work for him. He helped Gradov with too many dark things, so now he wants to make things right. Using the hacked servers, he knows who the real spy and the mastermind behind the plane crash is, and that person is working with Gradov. The scientist tells them the address of his safe house and gives them a code to run on the terminal. It will show them the identity of the spy. Gradov's men are waiting for them at the final station, so they need to get off the train now. After saying all this, the old scientist passed away. The three of them jump off the train immediately. Rolling like dice, they steal a car and drive to the old scientist's safe house. There's nothing there. It could be a trap. Or maybe not. It's a two-way mirror, a clever trick of the eye. But outside, the assassins have arrived. Noel gives Sam a bag of weapons and tells him to hold them off while she and Will run the code and find the spy. The first guy gets a face full of bullets. The second gets blown to bits. It wasn't long until the next one started to fall, splat. Suddenly, the blonde assassin gets orders from Gradov to pull back. And at that moment, the spy is revealed. It's Will's secretary. Suddenly, someone shoots a hook into the machine, trying to pull it out and destroy the evidence. But the pole gets in the way. Sam tries his best to break one of the cables. But in the next second, the small room is being carried away by a plane. Noel and Will are one wrong step away from falling into an abyss of miles. Gradov appears and shoots, blowing up the room with Sam in it. Noel doesn't have much time to grieve. She and Will have to jump onto the roof of the building in front of them. Luckily, they both escape before Gradov drops the box. Gradov tells the guy on the other line that everything has been handled. But the two assassins facing him have a knowing look. He knows they've been bought off, but who does he think he is? An old fox wouldn't allow himself to become prey for other people. After killing the two assassins, he'll kill the traitor. On the other hand, Noel and Will get on a canoe by the docks to get to the endpoint. The next day, there are only 30 minutes left until the vote deciding the survival of the NATO alliance. The vice president suddenly gets a call from Will saying he's safe. He asks her to stall the vote and send the beast to pick him up. The US beast has arrived. But there's also an assassin inside. Turns out the real traitor is the vice president. She wants Will to die more than anything, so she can take power. At the same time, Gradov is also preparing for battle. Will distracts the enemy with a seemingly harmless move. But this is when boxing queen Noel makes her move. The inside of the car is ready. Outside, there are a couple of Gradov's cars chasing them. They ram into the back of the car, causing Will to shoot the driver. Suddenly, a fire truck comes speeding. It's Sam, alive and well. Sam and Noel are on the same level. Amazing. Will is driving in a crazy situation, and Sam puts all his trust and jumps in. Sam is in charge of driving. Will is stabbed in the thigh, but he pushes the assassin out. True to the name, the US president's beast is tough. Gradov's gang was tired from shooting so much. Will gets help from Noel to grab a knife from his thigh. When he opens the door to breathe, he quickly closes it back. The attack didn't even hurt the best. Sam backed the car up like a professional. Will help to open the car skills. The smoke lets the enemy drive out of the street. Will throw a syrup at the hair girl. She was in the way, and the car exploded. The final member shot a rocket into the beast. The fires consumed the car, but it was not a problem to run. Inside the conference, the countries are leaving NATO. The vice president's plan seemed to it would turn out good, but it didn't work out. Sam and Will both appeared, causing chaos. The US president and the United Kingdom minister had successfully joined the other countries that intended to leave. They revealed the vice president, and she kept fighting back. To her surprise, she was shot. Gradov ordered his party to attack. The meeting soon became chaotic. Noel acted as a god and was up against Gradov. The battle had to be given back this time in Spain. Sam saw his girlfriend and thought that she was incredible. The assassin came to the party, so Noel stood in the way of the gang. While Will and Sam were chasing after the one who ran away, Gradov, both were blocked off by the big bodyguard and teamed up to take them down. Sam took down another guy. After the fight, Noel had gotten the top assassin. Sam and Will got into a gunfight with Gradov but were shot. Both watched and couldn't help when Gradov jumped into the helicopter. They thought of something and split into two and ran, causing Gradov to shoot Sam. And when that happened, Will took the state and threw a helicopter fan. The fan was broken, and Gradov was gone. Ending, Will and Sam became friends. Both stars were being hunted by the media. Everyone has something and creates a different personality. And don't try to change people, just go along. So the show is over. Make sure to like and subscribe to a new show.